On Sports Today, the coaches back-to-back for Parkland Mazda and the all-new Mazda 6.
On 882 6PR.
Gripping game of football way back on Friday. It seems like a long time ago. Ross Lyon joins us from the Fremantle Locos. G'day, Ross.
Good evening, Brad.
How's the nerves?
Yeah, a couple of stiff gin and tonics will fix that, no problem. Clancy's fish pub Saturday night.
Well, mate, it was a great game, and gee, it ebbed and flowed. I mean, the fast start, of course, by the Tigers, and then the middle part of the game where you took over, and then at the end of the game, they took over again. It was just one of those unbelievable nights for footy.
Yeah, well, it was great for our, anyone tuning in, like live or on TV. So 7 were pleased, and we were really pleased to get the chocolates in the end. But I thought you're really right. Our midfield got pantsed early, and then they really took control in the middle 2 quarters, and even the start of the last. But we just really low reward for effort, for the amount of. I just felt frustrated for the players that they slaughtered, or we slaughtered some opportunities going forward that probably should have seen us have a 4-goal buffer.
Well, it's the skill that we're often forgotten about, isn't it? And that's called option taking, isn't it? And they certainly didn't do that on several occasions, which would have given you heart failure at worst.
You're spot on. It's the decision making when there's some golden opportunities. So, and when you work really hard, you need reward for effort. And then what happens is they kick 2 from the boundary. It could have been 3, and all of a sudden it's game on. So, but look, at the death, I thought the leadership from the midfield and John Griffin and the forwards to get it done under real pressure with limited time frame was outstanding. So they're empowered to do that. We like them to act and think their way through, and they're really powerful at the death.
Garrick Ibbotson, first game for the season, really impressed me. I don't know if he did what you asked of him, but certainly played his part in the game on Friday night.
Yeah, he played his part. Oh, look, I thought it was a scratchy start. He was a bit tentative and a few fumbles and missed tackles, but I thought his second half was really strong, so Garrick needed to do that. We got a clear path for him, and in the end, he was a valuable contributor.
Kepler Bradley goes down with a knee. Now, obviously, you get a chance to elevate somebody, but you must be running out of tall blokes down there. Where's Mitch Clark? Mitch Clark. Zach Clark
at Melbourne. We still couldn't get him.
You're doing it.
Zach, you meant?
Yeah,
Zach Clark. He's rehabbing, and he should have a full week on the track. So we'll see how the week progresses. But look, he wouldn't come in because he hasn't played. So we're pretty pleased with Jack Hanneth coming in, and Alex Silvani and Tanner Smith are the logical ones. But Duffield comes back. So we need to have a look at the makeup of the team, and we're really tall midfield. Obviously, Fyfe's under a little bit of duress at the moment, so we'll make a decision, whether to front that tomorrow night, which is, knowing the player Nathan is and the type of player he is, I think he'll be keen to sort of represent himself. But we'll see how the week unfolds.
So it sounds like you're going to challenge that right now if the coach had his way, which is something that we can talk about for the next couple of days. Mate, Clancy Pearce. Now, how good is that kick? Mate, he was mate, they're low, they're flat, and, mate, they were bang on target 95% of the time.
Yeah, he's a better kick than handballer. So.
Mate, and they got penetration too.
Yeah, which is the art form, isn't it? Our backs, we asked him to run and bounce, and they had 13 entries on the weekend. So, look, he's a beautiful kick. Michael Johnson, Ibbotson's a lovely kick and spur. He's underrated. So I think if you throw Duffield in there, we've got Zach and Luke sort of whacking away down there. So the more penetration and exits you can get with, long, low kicks, the better off you are in today's footy.
Now, you toyed with the idea of maybe throwing Luke forward. That could be a distinct possibility this week as another backup option?
Well, I'm conservative by nature, so you guys know that. It's an option, but we like to... Well, I experienced it when Reebok went down. You take out Fisher, you take out Dawson, you move Goddard. At the end of the day, you just got to replace the structure. So with the Saints, we put in Reece Stanley for 10 or 12 weeks. And even though he only averaged 4 disposals, he gave us the structure. So that's the way we went last week. Jack Hanneth in, keep your midfield and back 6 intact, and back everyone to get it done. So just not toy with what you've got in place rather than have a lose-lose.
Now, I've got to ask, look, with Ryan Crowley and your so-called taggers, did you actually try to run with the Tigers at the start, or they just weren't effective?
Well, their starting points were not what we're after. So I think Ryan did a really good job on Delidio, and he could have kicked 2, kick 1 and miss 1. with a shepherd, he might have got the other one. So, look, other than that, we're just basically unaccountable, which is unlike our midfield. So they get a week's grace, but to their credit, they were emphatic in the second and third quarters, turning it around. So, look, the percentages tell you, all the punters out there know, you get the lead at quarter time, you're pretty good at hanging on to it. So we've come from behind twice now, round one and on the weekend, but it's not something we'd like to make a habit of.
Hard to see on the TV, but I thought you probably could have tried to direct the ball through Ryan a bit more on the way back, because Delidio and these guys who get the go-with player like Ryan Crowley tend to think, thank God he's gone away.
You're spot on. I mean, the elite mids, the Greg Williams, they tend to run the other way. So when you get it, but we just think we've watched Cameron Ling, and he was great at splitting when Geelong had the ball and being an exit out of defence and pushing forward. So that's something we're working on, Ryan. We'd like to get him up around the 20 disposals a week, no doubt.
How are you looking at your team at the moment and assessing the progress, say comparing to last season? You tracking as well, do you think?
Yeah, we're still inconsistent. We know that. We've got plenty of improvement in us, and I was on record a few weeks ago. So we know our best. We're still short of our best, and we're working towards it. So we need to lift our contested ball effectiveness from clearances, and the ability, our last kick inside 50 isn't bearing the fruit we would like. So defensively, we tightened up on the weekend. I don't think we can defend much better than we did. But just reward for effort, as Brad said, our decision-making, finding the free player or kicking to the contest when need be, needs to improve considerably.
The time goes fast, but look, there's no doubt Gold Coast Suns are getting it a little better, and they're very dangerous at Metricon, and I think you really had to work double time last year to beat them. I think, or was that the year before?
No, you're spot on. It was last year. I felt sick the whole day. So they dominated clearances last time, possessed the ball a lot, but it's going to be sticky, it's going to be greasy, but we're under no illusions, what needs to be done. So if you're going to be a good team, you need to win in the state, and they'll be aiming for their third win for the year. So they've improved considerably, and so they should be now going into their third year with all that talent. So we understand it's going to be tough, but we think we're a good team, but talk's cheap. We've got to go and get it done. Not
your area, but obviously the controversy about the goal umpires, how they stand, etc. I mean, I know you copped it with Jack Hawkins in a grand final a couple of seasons ago with another team. How do you feel about it? I mean, just general. Do you think the goal umpires should straddle the line or not?
Well, I don't know the methodology behind it, to be frank. I just think, look, if they could. It happens all so quick. I think that's like players' decision making. They got 1 or 2 seconds to move, and they're all thundering in. And I'd imagine it's a high stress job as well. But if they could just get behind the post and peer, that might help. So, but it is what it is. We all know the rules. If it hits the umpire and goes back in, it's play on. So, it's flip of the coin stuff. But for mine, we won by a point. You just wish that you'd fixed up everything else before we were worrying about that. So if we had a loss by a point, I probably would have been looking at the drop marks, missed shots in front of goal, and head-high tackles and fumbles. I think the umpires do a lot right, and it's hard to get them, so we all should lay off them a little bit.
Yeah, and just quickly, mate, updates on your players that are not too far away from coming back. You spoke about Zach Clark. We know where's Pav, where's Morabito. We know Kepler's gone for the year. How are those guys progressing?
Yeah, look, Aaron's still probably the 4 weeks, but we thought he had a hiccup, but he's actually fine. So, he's on track for that another 4 weeks. Matthew is, as you know, done last week, and we're 4 to 6. We're hopeful it's 4, but we don't really know. Anthony Morabito is tracking really well. The update is, we'd like Anthony to update because it's been, a long time. It's all been going on, so rather than speak for Anthony, but he's going really well. He's had no hiccups, and Jaden Pitt, unfortunately, still working through his health issue. So, and you got Kepler Bradley. But getting back, who we got back? Really, Zach Clark hopefully is available this week, and Jesse Crichton is one that's been missed as well. That should be available this week. So, and we've got some promising kids. Josh Simpson really turned it on in the South Fremantle game, and Vic Mitchie's been dominating at Peel with young Tommy Sheridan and Hayden Crozier. So we've got a bit of youth coming through that we're pretty keen to expose.
And Mellington played all right too, kicked his 3 goals on the weekend, so he's doing a fair bit right too.
Look, he's a real hard man, beautifully skilled. So those small forwards, it's a tough, Bellas and Walters and De Boer are pretty fierce on their areas. But look, it's great to have pressure on them, and we know we've got some quality coming through. And we know we're not the perfect list, but we want to keep growing the youth as best we can.
Now, just one amazing thing I felt out of the game the other night is that Ballantyne didn't get a tackle. But I don't know how he measured in your pressure acts, and I was talking about referred pressure. It's just, the impact that he had without laying a tackle, kicking his 4 goals, was instrumental in you winning the game.
Oh, you're spot on. Look, he was one of our best players. So he was highly instrumental with his pressure acts and his chase downs. And look, at the end of the day, he's kicked 4. And Walters should have kicked 4 as well. So the only thing for Hayden, I think, he was really brave a couple of times, some of his head knocks, where he went in, and it was just a little bit more composure. I thought, he could have kicked 6 or set up 8. So he's in really good form, and we really value him highly. He's a real team leader, and everyone stepped up in the absence of Matthew and Aaron. But we need to do it again. That's the real issue here.
Ross, appreciate your time. Good luck against the Suns. Talk to you next Monday.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Carl.
Ross Lyon. Coaches back-to-back for Parkland Mazda. John Worsfold next year on 882 6PR Sports Today.